because
it
they
is the
love the
government's
kids.
responsibility to take care of everything and everyone. You can't have too much of it. See that they must protect the children because they're going to be a part of the bigger collective. Remember, it takes a village, Casey. There are delusional progressives out there that really believe that this is a better way. They believe that anyone who has any type of ideals for, adhering to the Constitution or that use words like liberty or freedom or say things like Jesus or God.
I did hear us being called, freedom junkies?
No, freedom fiends.
Freedom fiends.
Freedom fiends. That's and you know what? You know what makes
it's so wrong.
You know what makes that particularly sad, man? Is it was a duly elected United States representative to Congress from the state of Florida, Alan Grayson, that said that. He referred to people who want to, really adhere to the Constitution. Something as simple as that. Mitch McConnell, and as yet to be named senator, has now been quoted as referring to people that think the way that you and I do, Casey, as traitors.
To the Senate.
Traitors to the Senate. They said anyone who would take money from Freedom Works or from the Senate Conservatives Fund is an enemy. An enemy, Casey. And this was a Republican that said that. See,
I thought you said it was Mitch McConnell.
Well, a registered Republican.
Okay, gotcha.
Progressives are not just Democrats.
Progressives are statists. If you walk around in the hallowed halls of our United States Congress, House and the Senate, and you think that government has the power to do good, then you're a progressive. If you think that taking rights and choices away from citizens is a good thing to do, then you're a progressive.
For years, the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, they have their whole reason for being is to protect constitutional law, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the...
That's what they say.
Right.
That's what they claim anyway. All right? They're all about protecting your civil liberties, correct?
Supposedly.
All right. So then tell me, why is it that the Tea Party, who is dedicated to the protection of our civil liberties, to upholding and defending the Constitution of the United States of America, how is it that they, the Tea Party, whose mission is very much the same as the American Civil Liberties Union, their stated mission, how is it that they can say the same things, but one of them is a traitor to the state?
I don't know.
How are they a hate group? Because according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, there's a whole bunch of Tea Partiers that are members of hate groups. They viewed Southern Baptists as a hate group. Now, I fall guilty on a whole lot of things in that because I am a Christian. I am a member of the Tea Party.
And you're a Southern Baptist.
And I'm a Southern Baptist.
Oh.
And about the only thing I can say that I truthfully hate is progressivism. Because apparently it's what we do as Christians. We hate. Now, I'm not saying I hate progressives. You didn't hear me say that. I hate progressivism because it wants me to do away with my God It wants me to do away with my guns.
It wants to do away with everything. That which is not compulsory is prohibited.
Dude, we have hit...
From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs.
Stop. Dude, stop. I'm itching. Stop. You
See,
know I'm allergic to Marx. You can't be quoting him all willy-nilly.
That progressive that I was referring to over there in California who, caught up, that just sums up the progressive ideal right there. Well, I wanted everybody to have insurance, but I didn't want to pay for it. See, that's the whole thing.
It's good for you, but not good for me.
Well, it's okay to steal from me, but it's not okay to steal from that guy.
Right.
See?
Right.
I mean, he was perfectly okay with them taking money from me to pay for that stuff, but he didn't want to pay.
But there's good news. There's good news. The good news is that all of this stuff is plain to see, and that there is a great portion of this country who is extremely dissatisfied, no matter what the tick turds in the press want to say.
And by the way, let me explain the whole tick turd thing so that people understand what we're talking about. We're talking about the excrement that comes out of the rear end of a tick, which is a bloodsucker.
Parasite.
So, a blood-sucking parasite. So when we refer to the mainstream media as tick turds, they are
the excrement.
The poop from a blood-sucking parasite.
I think they got that.
I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay.
Because none of them have called in.
Well, I was getting
either we have no progressives out there listening,
which I know that not to be the case.
Yeah. Or they're chicken.
Or they realize that they are in an indefensible position. Chicken. They have been exposed. They have been weighed. They have been measured. And they've been found wanting. Look, man, progressivism is... It's not just a word that we... that we use to generalize anything. It is a real...
It's a political
movement. It's been called a million different things. I mean, they used to call it being politically correct, but it's progressivism. They've called it socialism, but it's progressivism.
The one thing that is a synonym with progressivism, and this is what we tried, and every time we say it, I know a bunch of people are just going to dismiss us out of hand. I don't care, because this is truth. Progressivism is communism.
Plain and simple.
And there's a whole lot of people out there who want to call themselves progressive because they think in terms, this means progress. Yeah, it does. It means a progress towards state control of everything.
Yeah, progress does not necessarily mean a good thing. I mean, these people really don't know the meanings of words when they use them, I think. Because there's nothing about the definition of progress that guarantees...
Progress can be bad. If you are on a football team and you're playing defense and the opposing team's offense progresses with the ball into your territory, you've lost ground, they gain ground. This is not good for you.
Or if you're going down a mountain and your brakes go out, and
you progress all the way to the bottom of the mountain except for that last curve that you just couldn't make. That kind of progress, that's a wreck.
Which is a very good analogy because we're about to have a national wreck because of other people's ideas of progress.
Well, we're going to have that. If we have the wreck, we're going to have that wreck because there are people who are working diligently to cause that wreck on purpose with intent.
But again, the good news is we can see this stuff now. It's not like this is coming out of left field. More and more people are waking up to it. We have an election coming up. I don't care what Chuck Todd says. I don't care how many ways he tries to work the equation out to where the House is going to go back blue, how the American people are really going to be so stupid as to think, all of this stuff is good news, or that they're going to buy all of this, the Republicans did it, all of this, your pain and suffering is Republican. You think it's never worked out that way. That's the thing that the Democrats keep forgetting about. When just about every time we've had one of these government shutdowns, you know who's paid for it?
It's been the Democrats.
The Democrats every time. Every time.
Now
they always lose seats as a result of these things.
I know that time is winding down on us.
Yeah, we're like 10 minutes over.
Well, let's make sure that everybody understands this. Look, now is not the time to sit back and not call your congressman just because you've already called them and told them that they're doing what you want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now
and the president wants you to call them.
Yes,
so.
The president wants you to call your congressman, but if you want to counter the president's agenda, do so. Call your congressman. Tell them they're doing that by maintaining the shutdown and sending the piecemeal bills, piecemeal funding up there. That's the right thing to do. Tell them they're doing right. Stick with it.
If you happen to live in a state and your reps are Democrats, by all means, call them and let them know, hey, the Republicans sending these piecemeal bills, that's how we want you to vote. Remember, this is our money here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't think you'd give your credit card to a crackhead. Well, that's essentially what we're doing here. If we don't let our representatives know, we got to stop this reckless spending. Remember, the president said, I played y'all the audio. The president said we got to stop. I played you a couple of them where he said he going to put a stop to it. To the progressives, if you want to help the president, if you really want to help the president and help him keep one of these promises, no more spending, no more raising the debt ceiling. We want some cuts here, serious cuts. Congress, get them bills paid one at a time because we really like this seeing what's in them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to, then we're going to find someone that will. Either Republican or Democrat, it don't matter. But we want people in Washington who are going to do the right thing. It ain't about the party. I don't care if it's a Republican or if it's a Democrat. I want people in Washington, D.C. that realize we're paying attention back home. We're watching what they're doing. And we're not so stupid that we're going to believe your BS anymore.
But the thing is, you got to call them and tell them. Now, they may still do wrong. Be prepared for that because, let's face it, they're a bunch of politicians. And we can't trust them. We already know that.
But you've got to do your part.
That's right. You've got to do your part out there. So now is not the time to sit back and not call them. Nope. Get on that phone, call their office, and tell them what you want.
I saw an article today where Justice Scalia, a reporter was asking him, about his faith. And if he believed in heaven and hell and God and Jesus and the devil and all that. And, Scalia was totally unashamed.
Mm-hmm.
And he wound up turning the question around on the reporter and saying, are the circles that you're running in, it's like, are they so jaded that you really have just completely lost sight of things? You really believe that the most of the country thinks like you do, when in fact most of the country believes in God. They believe in the devil. They believe in heaven. They believe in hell. There's more people than you think that are the, what they call us, Bible-thumping, gun clingers and all of that. There's a lot more of us out there than they think. And it's our duty to stand up and be counted. All this time we've been sitting back, not calling our representatives, not standing up and be counted to the point that they're convinced you really think that you really believe the stuff they're saying. They really believe that. You got to call these folks. You got to send them the emails. You got to let them know we're watching you.
and tell them that when they have a recess,